Yes. Okay. So welcome. We are officially going to get started, and I'm so glad you're here. I don't take it lightly that you have committed to spending the next 45 to 90 minutes with me. As I mentioned, this is a highly interactive training, and we're going to be having conversations together. So make sure you keep chatting, keep commenting, and keep that box open. So let's go ahead and dive into the masterclass. So you are here because you want my 3 secrets I used to stop sleeping my way through life. So it's super important that you guys block out all distractions, give yourself the time back, put your phone in another room, close all the tabs, put a do not disturb sign on the door, whatever you need to do, because it is so rare these days that you are able to give something your undivided attention, and you're here for a reason, and I want to make sure that you can focus on this training. On that note, I do have a special gift for you. Everyone loves presents, right? Everything I'm going to share with you tonight is equally as important, and it's critical to understand how your thyroid is working and what areas of your thyroid need to be supported so that you can regain that sustainable energy throughout the day. So stay until the end of the webinar. Will allow you to get a full picture of what's going on and the tips that I share with you so that you can gain that freedom from fatigue. Basically, what's happening here is I am bribing you to stay till the end. Close to the end of tonight's presentation, I will post a link in the chat box, and it will give you instant access to the thyroid panel guide, and inside there's a chart for you guys to look at your own lab work and see what's going on. Okay, so type in the chat box right now if you plan on staying till the end. So here's my big promise to you guys today. You are going to be able to clearly identify your thyroid symptoms and get the exact steps that I used to restore my thyroid so that I could wake up feeling refreshed and have energy all day long without depending on caffeine, chocolate, or naps, while being able to get back into the pants behind hiding in the back of my closet. And dare I say, I was able to say yes to my family, yes to my friends, and yes to my social life. Awesome. Erica says me, Angela says me, I will stay. Awesome. You guys are wonderful. So specifically, you're going to discover why what you've been doing for years to regain energy doesn't work and what to do instead. I'm going to walk you through what actually works. So imagine being able to skip over all the Googling, all the trial and error, and just do what works. I know when I started learning this method that I'm going to share with you, it actually changed my life. It certainly changed the lives of the clients that I've worked with, and I know these things can change yours. So type yes in the chat if that sounds good to you. Before we dive further in, let me know if you can relate to any of these questions. Erica says yes, yes, yes. Amazing. Cheryl, Miranda, yes. Awesome. So, are you tired of feeling like you are constantly falling behind on things? Are you fed up with feeling confused about what steps you need to take and in what order to take them in so that you can feel better? Are you unsure of how to get off the caffeine, the chocolate, and skip the naps and just have the energy to keep up with your life? Do you feel like you're going crazy and that it's all inside your head, or maybe your doctors have even told you that? Can you relate to any of these? Type yes in the comments if you can relate. Yes. Jen says yes. Erica, Miranda, yep. So if you're nodding your head yes in agreement to any of these points, I promise I'm not a stalker. I haven't been watching you. I have done all of those things. And I promise you, whatever it is that you're doing right now and it's not working, it's not your fault. It's really hard to know who is right and who to trust. And if you feel anything like I did back then, I would have done just about anything to get rid of the problem and to have the energy to keep up with life. Because the real problem is not calories in versus calories out. when you have thyroid problems. People say things like, oh, you just need to eat less and work out more. And many of us have bought into those lies and those deceits and bounced from one extreme to the next extreme diet, only to have it not work, leaving us feeling like a complete failure and wondering what is wrong with your body. And when you continue to do those restrictive and extreme diets over and over and over again, it makes the problem worse. It causes the thyroid T3 hormone to slow down. Your energy plummets and it causes your metabolism to slow, which will cause that resistant and rebounding weight. So type yes in the comments if anyone has spent, or actually, you know what, let's change it. Casey says that's exactly what my endocrinologist said to me. Yes. So type diet in the comments if you have tried that route, if you've bounced from one diet to the next diet, trying to get this all balanced out and figured out. Casey says diet. Yep, diet. Yeah, you guys, you're not alone. You're not alone in this. It's frustrating. I totally get it. You were following what your doctors are telling you, what your friends are telling you, what your family is telling you, and it's not working. So let me give you an example of this. Whoop, let me get to the next slide. I remember being at a family event and I was told by my siblings that I just needed to prioritize going to the gym and eating better, and I would have more energy and be able to lose weight. Mind you, I already had 2 certificates in nutrition. I had cut out all grain, all dairy, and I hired a personal trainer. And guess what? Instead of losing weight, I gained weight. Talk about being devastated. I was completely embarrassed and mortified when my personal trainer weighed and measured me and he said, well, you didn't go up too much. How could this be? I walked out of that personal training session fighting back the tears. But once I got to the car, the floodgates open. What the hell was wrong with me? I was doing everything in my power to eat less and to exercise more. So why wasn't it working for me? Please tell me I am not the only one that has had conversations like that with themselves. Have you guys had conversations like that? Jen says me too. Yes, I was miserable, you guys, truly miserable. I felt grossed. I was ashamed of myself because I wasn't able to figure it out, even with my education in nutrition and holistics, right? I didn't want to feel like that anymore. I wasn't happy. And to my own disdain for for my weight and my body, it really started to affect me and affect the quality of life and how I felt, because this wasn't the life that I had envisioned for myself. And I know this is the life that you haven't envisioned for yourself either. And that is exactly why I am so glad you are here. Because what I'm about to share with you is the fastest and simplest way so that you can start waking up every morning feeling refreshed and ready to start the day. No more relying on naps and caffeine and chocolate to give you that energy, and have the ability to stay focused and motivated throughout the day so that you can say yes to the things that matter the most. And stop having those afternoon crashes and stop relying on the naps and early bedtime. You will finally feel like yourself again and start to feel normal. Cheryl says, my doctor tells me my body might just, wait. Oh, she's saying that her doctor said her body just might like being at the weight it is now. Very discouraging, Cheryl. So tell me in the comments, which scenario is the most like you? What do you want, right? Which one best describes why you've showed up today? Before we go any further, I should formally introduce myself. Hi guys, I'm Shannon Hansen. I am a certified holistic wellness practitioner and a certified functional nutrition practitioner. I help women gain freedom, create their thriving thyroid. I help women support women in their thyroid imbalances so that they can stop sleeping their way through life without having to rely on the caffeine, the chocolate, and the naps for energy. I am the founder also of the Hansen method to help you guys create that thriving thyroid. Miranda says, to just feel like myself again, I want my energy back. Yep, absolutely. So in October 2015, I graduated as a holistic wellness practitioner. In January 2018, I delivered my third baby at over 200 pounds, and I knew things needed to change. So after 18 months of struggling with my weight, hair loss, fatigue, migraines, acne, I was complaining to my mom, and she said, and we have a long line of family thyroid stuff. So she told me, hey, you should go get your thyroid checked. And I was like, no, that's not the problem. Like, I had already been in the holistic field for a while now. I would know if something was wrong with me. So I was telling my husband, and he said, well, sometimes when it comes to yourself, you forget what you know. So it took me another 6 months to humble myself and to make an appointment to go get my thyroid checked. In 2017, I started working with a naturopath with my thyroid. And after several months, lots of money, I realized I really wasn't getting any better, and I wasn't getting the results that I had expected. In 2017, I also worked with Dr. Nancy Gretzinger, where we co-authored the book, The Happy Healthy Brain. But in 2018, I began to understand my calling in life a little bit more, and I started working one-on-one with clients. And that year alone, I managed to work with over 200 individuals doing it part-time while being a mommy. And that really helped me find my true passion with as far as like working with other women with thyroid imbalances. And in 2019, so just last year, I finally stepped into what I had always dreamed about doing and having was an online program. And I have taken my private one-to-one practice and brought it online, and that is now called the Hansen Method, where I teach women what took me years of trial and error to figure out. So this was me 5 years ago when I was struggling with the debilitating fatigue and the resistant weight using those traditional methods that I had learned in school, but they weren't working. It was frustrating and confusing and overwhelming, and I was discouraged. My self-esteem started to tank, and I felt defeated because when I was working, even with other professionals, things weren't working. I was tired, my hair was falling out, my weight wasn't coming off, and I had a hard time looking in the mirror because I had no clue who was looking back at me. That was me when I was trying to toggle between dieting and experimenting with different lifestyles and eating. And I was also binge eating, even though I would have never used that word to describe what I had going on, because that is a very scary word, right? Even though that's exactly what I was doing. Erica says, I hate mirrors. Yes. I remember one time, you guys, I cut out the sugar for 30 days. It was challenging for the first few days, but it got better. But after the 30 days, I didn't see any results. So I went to the store. I bought all the candy and the snacks that I had missed out on. I was embarrassed and ashamed, but at the same time, I didn't care. It was like I couldn't even control myself. In my mind, it was like, it's okay. I've tried hard enough and it didn't work. But then I was left feeling guilty for not being able to control myself. And if I'm totally honest, I couldn't understand why I couldn't lose the weight because I didn't realize what I was doing to my hormones and to my thyroid. So does anybody feel like this? Tell me in the comments if you're struggling with the same thing or maybe something similar. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Casey says, yes, yes, yes. Who's doing this, right? I know I'm not the only one. Yes, all of it. So right then and there, I have to tell you what my defining moment was. I was standing I was completely emotional, feeling discouraged and frustrated. I was bloated and gassy and puffy. I was constipated. I felt heavy and yucky. I decided I wanted more. And I knew at this point the power of food in restoring and healing the body. And one day I was looking in the mirror. I was kind of disgusted by the rolls that I see hanging over my pants. And I was pinching that extra fat around my waist. And my daughter walks in. She gives me a hug and told me how beautiful I was. It was at that moment I realized she didn't care about my size or what I looked like. She just wanted me. And it was right then and there that I made that conscious decision that I would love myself for who I am. I would respect my body because my daughter, all three of them, were watching me. I decided that I could no longer live this way. And I decided I was going to figure out how to love my body even with the thyroid problems, because I knew they were making things different for me. I made the decision that I was going to figure it out, how to start working with my thyroid and my metabolism without punishing myself for the lack of progress I thought I should be making at a certain point, without giving up that valuable family time, those social outings, because I couldn't eat what other people were eating, or saying no to my kids because I had to go spend time exercising. And that's when I started the journey that got me to where I'm at today, here with you, sharing this methodology with my clients so that you guys can skip over the years of trial and error and the struggles that I went through, so that you can just get back to the energy and the weight loss that you are desperately searching for. And that decision led me to figuring out what I have been doing wrong all of those years. And I'm so grateful that I made that decision to invest in myself, because I would probably still be trying different diets and spending hours in the gym and missing out on enjoying the salted dark chocolate and the ice cream and still not getting anywhere. So, like Oprah Winfrey says, when you know better, you do better. Even though I am now able to have that lasting and sustainable energy without relying on the caffeine and the chocolates and the naps, it still took me a solid 2 to 3 years to figure it out, because I had to unlearn everything that I thought was right and what I had been taught in school, because I quickly discovered how wrong they were for thyroid imbalances. And I struggled. Embarrassing as it is to admit, I became obsessed, and not with the diet and exercise like I was before, but with searching out the answers. I spent hours reading books and listening to podcasts and reading internet articles and medical journals and on thyroid health. And one day I realized I was doing it again. I was missing out on my children's life. And I wished at that moment that someone could just tell me what to do. I was spending so much time and energy trying to figure out this magic answer, and it took a lot of patience, and there was no way I would have arrived to this Hansen method without having invested in my professional education and becoming an expert in the holistics and in functional nutrition. But I was fully committed to figuring it out, not only for myself, but for others. And I wasn't going back to the way things were before. So what I discovered through all of this trial and error was that I wasn't worthless or broken or weak or had poor willpower, or that I wasn't strong enough to say no to the junk food. I also learned that it wasn't normal to track all the food or to think about every single thing I put in my mouth or do an hour of cardio all the time. I discovered that none of those things were normal or helpful. And I figured that out. I figured out that I, in fact, had thyroid blockers that upset my thyroid hormones. And once I started to address those blockers, everything changed for me. And I want to share how I did that with you so that you can skip over all of that trial and error today as well, because there is a simpler way to get to the energy and into a more realistic pant size without missing out on your favorite foods or skipping those large family gatherings or spending hours in the gym. So type yes in the comments if you want a simpler way. Actually, type simpler way. Miranda says yes. Erica, yep, I totally get it. Awesome. So before we dive into Angela says simpler way, Jen says simpler way. Okay, wonderful, you guys. Before we dive into the 3 secrets, I wanted to share a short case study with you, because it's important that you guys see real examples of what success looks like so that you can ground yourself in knowing that it is possible for you too. So this is April. April says, working with Shannon was the last piece of the puzzle. I've been having health issues for years. I went to doctors who were all only able to fix a small part, but I had never felt 100%. Shannon was able to provide the nutrition help, which was the last piece of the puzzle. I'm feeling better and I have more energy than I have had in years. after April went through the Hansen method, she experienced the freedom from fatigue. She went from sleeping 18 hours a day to sleeping 10 to 12 hours a day and progressively getting better. So now imagine yourself. Imagine you have the energy of a 5-year-old where it just keeps going and going and going. Imagine taking your kids or even your grandkids to the park and running around and playing tag with them, sliding down the slides and laughing because you got to say yes to them. Imagine pulling out your skinny jeans from the back of the closet and being able to fit into them with room to spare. Imagine being able to have the energy to be intimate with your spouse without feeling tired or ashamed of how you look. Miranda says, yes, yes, yes. All of these things that could help you feel happy, successful, and have meaningful relationships, not only with your loved ones, but also with yourself, so that you can stop feeling defeated and unaccomplished in your life. So type in the comments, me, if you want to accomplish one of those things or even all of those things. Me, please. I love that. Okay, so let's dive into my 3 secrets. Okay, Jen says thumbs up. Awesome. So did you know that the average thyroid patient, actually, let me tell you what this what this secret is. So waiting for the doctor to get it right. So did you know that the average thyroid patient goes to an average of 10 different doctors before they are diagnosed with thyroid imbalances? And about 60% of the people with thyroid imbalances will never even be diagnosed. So think about how long that takes to go to different doctors and visits. I mean, weeks, months, years before getting a diagnosis to have someone tell you what you already know. And also, a very small percentage of people have also found success with taking thyroid medication. They are suffering from weight gain and hair loss and brain fog and so much more. So, oh, here we go. You guys are tired, worn out, you're gaining weight, you can't lose weight, your body is achy and swollen and puffy, and your brain feels cloudy. Your hair is probably falling out, and the reason this keeps happening is because it is common practice for doctors and physicians to only test TSH. If it comes back within these normal ranges, they discontinue testing any further or doing any further investigation. So let me know in the chat box if you've gone to maybe more than one doctor, if they've only done limited testing, if you're taking medication, but you're still not regulating those symptoms. Casey says all of that. Yep. So let me know if your thyroid medication is leveled out, if you guys are feeling better. So before I dive into the science, I want to introduce you guys to a new way. Angela says, I'm taking thyroid medication, but not working. Erica says several. 3 PCPs would help. Gyno kept testing. So, okay, Jen has been to multiple doctors. Cheryl says limited. Oh, okay, I got it, Jen, now. She said 3 PCPs wouldn't help, so family practice, right? What is that word that I'm looking for, you guys? For the PCP. They wouldn't help her, so she went to 3 different ones. No help. Gynecologist kept testing, and then sent her to the endocrinologist. Medication has not been helping. All right. Sorry, guys. Taking thyroid medications. I was really high and then really good low. Awesome. Yep. Fluctuations in weight. Try to fluctuate those medicines. So let's teach you guys a little bit more about this new way of thinking and how we can get these things to balance out. Now, what doctors are testing for is what we call glandular dysfunction. Essentially what they're looking for is to see if your thyroid gland is broken and not producing thyroid hormones. The problem with this thinking is that sometimes people have cellular hypothyroidism. And this is where the thyroid hormones are not getting into the cells of the body, leaving you with thyroid symptoms, but with no explanation. And even if you're taking medication, it may not resolve the cellular hypothyroidism. And this is why you guys are, even with the thyroid medication, you're not experiencing those elimination of the symptoms, right? Because here we go. Here's the sciencey part, and just hang with me. This will make a little bit more sense. Okay, so every single cell in the body is dependent upon thyroid hormones for regulating your metabolism. So let's quickly examine why testing more than TSH is important. So the hypothalamus sends TRH, thyroid releasing hormone, to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland releases thyroid stimulating hormone, known as TSH, to the thyroid gland. The TSH stimulates TPO activity to use iodine to create T4 and T3. So just as a quick recap, and if you guys want to take a screenshot of this page, I think that would be a great idea. But so we have the hypothalamus, we have the pituitary gland, and we have the thyroid. Did you guys hear? So we have 3 different parts, and we have TRH, TSH, TPO, T4, and T3. So we have 5 different hormones taking places in those 3 different areas. Okay, keep going. 93% of T4 then goes down to the liver, and the liver then converts about 60% of T4 into reverse T3, which is a form the body can't use. So another 20% becomes active in the intestines in the presence of good, healthy gut flora. About 20% of healthy thyroid activity is dependent upon a good, healthy gut, which can quickly be knocked out by the use of 1 antibiotics. And the process, you guys, keeps going and going until thyroid hormones reach every single cell in the body. So let me just say, the answer isn't as simple as taking a probiotics and all will be well. So tell me in the chat, did you know that every single cell in the body is dependent upon thyroid hormones? Type yes or no. If you didn't know this, can you see how and why we need to start testing more so that we can make sure we better understand how to get these hormones into the cells so that we can start resolving the thyroid problems, the weight, the energy, the hair loss? Erica says no, Cheryl says yes, Angela yes, yes, Miranda yes. Okay. And the thyroid gland is this butterfly-shaped gland, as you guys can see in the picture, and it stretches over the Adam's apple. It acts as a shield, and it acts as the body's speed limit. So if you're cold, the thyroid will step on the gas to create more heat in the body. If you have a virus, the thyroid is going to rev up that immune system to help fight that virus, right? If you are overly stressed from, let's say, working 18 hours a day, being fueled by caffeine and chocolate and fast food, then the thyroid is going to hit the brakes so that you don't blow a gasket while being in that fast lane. Instead, the thyroid will slowly but surely start moving you into the slower lane or even onto the shoulder to keep you protected. So here's Jill, you guys, and this is what she had to say. The biggest influence the Hansen method had on my life was realizing the emotional impact on my health. The program helped me not only realize some of the triggers, but it gave me skills for coping and beginning to move beyond the triggers. The program has created a movement inside me to really think about the food and the impact the food is having on my body. When I know I'm not eating as good as I should, I sit down and think about what's happening in my life and what I need for self-care. The conversations with Shannon allowed my growth beyond just what I was eating and what I should do. Shannon took the time to really get to know me and my lifestyle. I felt as though she knew what was important for me and what wasn't. I walked away from each meeting with something I could take and implement in my life. So remember, the thyroid is highly sensitive to change and will react to even the smallest adjustments that you make. So those small changes like diet and exercise can affect the thyroid quickly, either positively or negatively. The question here isn't how do I rev up the engine and get her going again, but rather why is my body stomping on the brakes with both feet and pulling the emergency brake at the same time? The reason is exactly what Jill was pointing out. Finding your unique triggers. Your genetics will load the gun, but your environment, aka your thyroid triggers, will pull that trigger. So in order to figure out what the best path is towards restoring the thyroid function is finding out what those thyroid blockers are. I was struggling with the same thing, seeking out doctors to help me figure out what was going on. My first natural path put me on this crazy protocol, you guys, that required daily vitamin injections in my bum every morning that I had to do to myself, which I'm not a fan of needles. I also had to go in weekly for other vitamin injections and then bi-weekly for visits with a doctor with new supplements and a laundry list of to-dos that seemed completely unrealistic to me. I felt overwhelmed and frustrated, and more importantly, after working with him for about 6 months and spending literally thousands of dollars on this protocol, I felt very little improvement in my energy levels, and I actually felt more anxious and more overwhelmed. Then I continued to seek out more doctors and physicians for answers. I was looking for someone to validate what I was experiencing and help me to resolve these issues that kept growing. So can you relate? How many doctors have you guys been to? What are you guys doing? How many medications have you tried? How many doses have you tried? Jen says, I have to go to that convert. Okay. Yep, I will have the recording for you, Jen. I will be sending it out a little bit later. All right. Thank you. Okay, so number 2. Oh, you guys, I skipped. Okay, here we go. So number 2, stop thinking you're lazy and should just go to the gym and eat less. Oh, wait, people are answering. Okay, so Erica says tons, 3 doctors and tons of medicine, vitamins. Casey says levothyroxine and Armor, thyroid, multiple doses, just one endocrinologist, says Cheryl. I had a doctor tell me that I just had to get used to being a woman and having these issues, basically just getting over it. Oh my goodness, Miranda. Wow. That's, I hope you fired that doctor. That's all I have to say about that. All right. So secret number 2, stop thinking you're lazy and that you should just go to the gym and eat less so you can lose the weight. Many of the clients who come into my office, I ask them, what do you think is holding you back from achieving your goals and, having more energy and being able to lose the weight? And 90% of them say that if I had more energy, I'd be able to exercise and eat better. Well, I'm here to tell you that is 100% wrong. And let me be very clear. You have the motivation. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here in this class trying to learn. You wouldn't be scheduling calls with me. You wouldn't be a part of my online Facebook community. You wouldn't be getting my emails because you're out there, you're trying to do the research and trying to understand how to improve the thyroid function. So you definitely have the motivation. What you're missing is those step-by-step instructions and understanding of how the body works and how to put it all together. And if I'm completely honest with you, you could be working against your body unknowingly, because I was, but you're here because you're listening, right? You're out there, you're trying to do all this research, but you're listening to your friends, you're watching your friends and trying to do what they do, but they don't have thyroid problems like you. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your approach has to be different than theirs. And the common thought process is to eat less and to exercise more. And that common belief is further damaging that thyroid function for you and causing that extreme fatigue in the body. So who is ready to ditch that common belief and ditch the extreme diets and exercise and things like that? Type in the chat box, ditch that if you are ready to leave that behind once and for all. Ditch that, ditch that. Yep, ditch that. Okay, so let's move on. One of the big diets that I see going on right now is the low carb or even keto and intermittent fasting. Many of my clients have tried these in the past, and while they worked in the beginning for some others have noticed negative side effects right away. Look, I don't blame you for for trying what you're seeing what is working for other people, right? You're following your friends on social media because you're desperate, and seeing those results are very compelling and enticing. So let's chat about what you need to be doing and what's working so that you can start working with that body again, instead of feeling like your body hates you and is working against you, and dare I say, so that you don't feel crazy anymore, because nobody likes that feeling. So here's the problem. Well, low carb and keto is all the rage right now. There is a problem with it. What happens when we start going down this path is it inhibits the conversion of T4 into T3. Now remember, T3 is that active hormone in the body that is revving up that metabolism that is going to help you lose the weight. So it's inhibiting that conversion that's happening in the liver and in the intestines. So once again, that's further slowing down your metabolism and the rate at which you can actually burn fat. The second problem with this is that the body is trying to work in overdrive, making sure that this conversion happens so that the thyroid hormones can be properly used in all of the cells in the body. So your body is putting the energy into making this happen, which is taking the body from you. So now you have two problems, right? Number one, you lack the energy caused by the body, but you from not having that proper thyroid conversion happening in the cells, but now your body is taking that little energy that it does have and trying to force the hormones to work, which is leaving you feeling dead tired and feeling like you are sleepwalking most days. So here's the solution, right? Who's ready for the solution? You want to make sure that you are eating enough carbohydrates, because we don't want you slowing down your metabolism or your liver function. Now, remember back at the beginning, we talked about the whole conversion process. So eating a proper amounts of carbohydrates in a day with foods like properly prepared legumes and lentils, potatoes, and other starchy veggies is a good place to start. Eating other things like broccoli and leafy greens, fruits like berries and apples can help improve that liver function, which is where the conversion of T4 and T3 is happening. That will keep that metabolism up. So type yes in the comments if you have tried this, and please don't be scared, because this is one of the things that I tried too. Yes, Cheryl says yes, Miranda. Okay, so the next one is avoiding that intermittent fasting. And while this is a very common among, like right now, this is one of those top diets that we're seeing as far as the trends. For those of you who are struggling with thyroid and adrenal imbalances, we need to avoid this type of dieting because it puts too much strain on the adrenals and the liver. So the problem with this, if you already are in a state of hypothyroidism, which is a lower metabolic rate, and the basal metabolic rate is the speed at which your body can burn fat, okay? So if you have hypothyroidism, you're already slowed down from burning the fat. And so when you're doing that intermittent fasting, this causes your body to think that you're in a famine. So again, it causes the body's metabolism and the thyroid to slow down further, causing more weight gain, which is the opposite effect of what we want to have happen, because you're not getting enough food and carbohydrates, and this inhibits the body's process to convert T4 into T3. So who's ready for the solution now? So how we're going to support and balance those thyroid hormones. We support the body's basal metabolic rate by eating and by removing processed foods like bagels and pasta, refined sugar, and increase those healthy fats, right? Increase avocados and nuts and seeds so that you can support the proper thyroid production and aid in the conversion that is happening in the body. We also need to be eating 3 regular meals a day, and a lot of times we should be eating 2 snacks that are nutritionally balanced. I teach you guys inside the Hansen method how to combine these foods so that you get those maximum results. This is something we cover, like I said, in depth in the Hansen method. So type yes in the comments if you tried intermittent fasting, because I totally did. Yes. Cheryl says yes. Casey, yes. Erica, yes. Okay. So this is Cindy. Let me introduce you to Cindy. She says, I was lacking motivation and expecting the you can do it mentality from Shannon. However, I found support, education, and tools I needed to stay motivated and to get the weight loss results I was looking for. And what I found was encouragement and suggestion and praise for my efforts. It wasn't like anything I have tried before, with all of the education and the food substitutes that fit my real life. My favorite part was the video trainings and the private Facebook group to ask questions and receive support in. So can I be a little vulnerable with you guys? I wanted to take just a quick second and introduce a personal story. Thinking that I too needed to spend more time exercising, I went to the gym, signed up for a new gym membership, hired a personal trainer, and went to the gym 4 to 5 hours a week for 30 to 90 minutes. I had a good mixture of cardio and HIIT training and yoga. 30 days into my program, the personal trainer weighed and measured me. I was disciplined, you guys. I was attending the gym. I was eating healthy, but guess what? I gained 10 pounds. I felt completely defeated and embarrassed at the lack of progress I was seeing. And I wanted to provide every excuse in the book, but the reality was my body wasn't working with me. We were fighting. I was trying to do one thing and it was trying to do another thing. And this is a very common story that is told by women with thyroid imbalances like hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's. And once again, when the body and the cells do not have proper thyroid hormones that they need to be, this is causing that famine in the body and is creating more and more fat cells to protect the body because your metabolic rate is slowing down. So, which is not your fault, right? I told you guys at the beginning, the things that you guys are doing right now, it's not your fault. It's a matter of learning how to make these simple adjustments to begin understanding how to work in harmony once again with the body. So inside the Hansen method, you will learn how to use movement and exercise to detox the body and to open up the pathways that is going to allow for better hormone conversion, so that will provide you with that good sustainable energy. So if you want that, say give me that in the comments if you would find something like that helpful. Give me that, give me that, give me that. Yep. Miranda, Casey, Erica. Yep. Awesome, you guys. So here's the thing. This is the next secret. And well, before I dive into this, I want to give a disclaimer here. I fully recognize that this is my story, and this may or may not be right for everyone. Some people had their thyroid removed. Some people have done, radiation treatments. So you need to make sure that you're consulting with your doctor and know what the best options are for you. But thyroid imbalances are not a one size fits all. So even though it's how it's being treated right now so let's say you go in, you get your lab work, the doctor says, yep, something's out of balance. Now they're going to prescribe a treatment for you. And that could be not the best option for you. And I'm going to give you an example of that here in just a minute. But this is what we call the standard practice of care. You go in, you get this treatment because of this result. If that didn't work, we're going to give you the next treatment. That one didn't work. Well, now you are doing something wrong because the medication works. So I want to give you an example of a situation that may, right, make the situation a little bit worse. So for example, if Shelly had low thyroid function as a result of adrenal stress that was caused by taking birth control pills, thyroid hormone medication would not only have been the wrong call, but would make her symptoms worse. So if you guys started taking the medication and it's making your symptoms worse, this could be one of those root causes for you. So many feel that once they have the medication, then their thyroid hormones will be balanced and you'll start having energy and your weight will decrease and the hair will stop falling out and the brain fog will go away and the cold hands and the puffy face and the tremors and the numbness and the tingling and the heart palpitation will all magically go away. And sadly, that is not the case because we aren't going to get to that root cause by just taking the medication. So, are you guys ready for my 5 steps? Are you ready? This is where we are diving into all of the goodies. Yes, yes, yes. Big capital letters. I love that. Okay, so number 1, I like to explain your genetics as the gun. And while your genetics is loading the gun, the environment is actually pulling the trigger, causing you to have hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, Graves, or hyperthyroid symptoms. You may be genetically predispositioned to thyroid imbalances from, parents, from things like that. But your environment around you is actually pulling the trigger and causing those thyroid blockers. These blockers come in all different shapes and sizes, and these are things like your food, your cleaning products, medications, pathogens, parasites, fungus, mold, heavy metals, air pollution, and the list goes on and on. So you need to understand what blockers are happening for you so that we can get to the root of why things are still out of balance for you. Tell me in the comments, I'm just curious, does your family have a history of thyroid imbalance? My mom, my grandma, my aunts, they all have thyroid imbalances. Erica says some. Yep, and not everybody, right? Not that I'm aware of, says Cheryl. Okay. Okay, so number 2, we need to create what I like to call a medical timeline. So what we're doing with this is we're looking for traumas, and I categorize trauma as anything less than nurturing. So trauma could be like physical trauma from a car accident, whiplash, head bonks, chronic strep throat. We also have emotional trauma, things like a death of a loved one, or being in an abusive relationship, or being put under an intense amount of stress with family, job, careers, things like that. And we're also looking for another component of hormonal traumas caused by fluctuation in hormones, pregnancy, nursing, miscarriages, birth control, and the list goes on. Casey says, my brother did when he was born, but it resolved. And I've heard my grandfather, but he will not talk about it. Yeah, okay. Yep. So all of you guys that are saying, yes, mom, sister, not that I'm aware of, whatever, we need to start looking at these genetic components as well, so that we know what steps to take. So when we do and have this medical timeline, these are the first 2 steps that help us to better understand those thyroid blockers. Okay. What was pulled, this is what we're pulling out, and we're looking at where we need to start. I call it reverse engineering, and it may be because my husband is an engineer that I think about reverse engineering the steps that we need to take. This is actually step number 3, not 4. Okay, let me fix that really fast. Okay, step number 3 is addressing the diet. Okay, we need to start addressing the diet. You guys, something happened with my slides. Hold on, let me see. Well, okay, we're just gonna go with it. What is going on here? Okay, you guys, ignore the slides for just just a minute. So step number 3 is addressing the diet. You guys already learned earlier that the diet has a profound effect on your thyroid. So cleaning up the diet and addressing the integrity of the gut is vital in your success of regaining the energy and achieving the weight loss. We need the right foods and the right balance so that the body has the right nutrients it needs to begin working and functioning optimally. And this is what I call the clean energy jumpstart. This is where you learn how to combine foods together to give your body the fuel and to regulate the thyroid. And second, you need those key nutrients to help fill in those gaps so that the body can rev up that metabolism and you can start feeling better. And the last thing we need to do with your food is we also need to detoxify the dirty energy or the dirty foods for you. And again, this is going to be different for each person. So I'm just curious, what have you guys done to support your diet? Have you guys tried gluten-free? Have you hired a nutritionist? Have you tried different diets? And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm really just curious what you guys have done. So this is actually step number 4. Somehow one of my slides got mixed up. So step number 4, when you have thyroid problems, you need movement. This movement allows you to detox those pathogens and the toxins in a different way than the bowels do. Okay, so going to the bathroom is different. So Erica says, try different diets, gluten-free, soy-free. Miranda, gluten-free. It was so hard. Angela says, daughter is type 1 diabetic, so we have done low carb. Yes. And Casey says, just clean eating. Cheryl says, seen a nutritionist, tried gluten-free and dairy-free. Yeah, okay. So we need to be participating in that exercise. We don't want to do too much. We don't want to overwork the body because this can put additional stress on the body. And like me, when I was working out with that personal trainer, it caused me to gain more weight, right? Because I was putting the body under so much additional stress. So we need to start with walking, swimming, yoga, light stretching. All of those can be great ways to not overly tax the body, and it can begin opening up those pathways so that you can get rid of that dirty energy again. Each one of these 4 steps combined together is a new way of addressing the thyroid health. First, by unraveling your story. Second, by helping to find and identify those thyroid blockers that are causing the stress in the body and helping you get to that root cause of what is taking place in the body. And, number 3 and 4 is helping to improve the lifestyle so that we're improving that cellular hypothyroidism, that cellular hypothyroid function, excuse me. So let me ask you, would you rather continue going to the doctor, being bounced around from specialist to specialist, seeking answers and trying to regulate medication that doesn't get rid of your symptoms or address the thyroid in a new way? Or are you ready to do a new way? Type in new way if you're ready for a new approach. Erica says new way. I need a new way to address this. Miranda says new way. Cheryl, Casey, new way. Angela, yep. Okay, so Candy says new way. So this is Sarah. Sarah was a busy mom. She was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. She was struggling to have the energy after full days of work to make dinner, to do laundry. She would come home and just kind of fall onto the couch. And her family, they really needed her because they owned a ranch and she was constantly trying to keep up without feeling worthless. She often would snap at her loved ones because she was so stressed out and overwhelmed and just plain exhausted. So after the Hansen method, she was able to come home from her 10-hour workday, come home, go work on the ranch, make dinner, do the laundry, and still had time to enjoy being intimate with her spouse. And if I'm telling you guys a little bit of a secret here, her husband told her she needed to dial it back because he was having a hard time. Her libido started increasing and she just started feeling amazing again. So when I finally started to look at my genetics and understand my unique story, I began to unravel my thyroid blockers. I discovered that I had a long list of trauma to my thyroid. Everything from chronic strep throat growing up to mono to a rollover car accident where I was ejected from the car and I actually had a piece of barbed wire across my neck that was restricting airflow. And I found tons of hormonal imbalances between birth control, multiple pregnancies, and so much more. And having all of these pieces on a piece of paper helped me better understand my symptoms. But I needed a new way to address my thyroid function. So, with the research and the trial and error, I realized the last 3 steps aid in the restoration and the rejuvenation of this process. Miranda says, my husband's dream. Yes, every man's dream. It's funny because she thought that's what her husband wanted, and then he was like, I can't keep up. So good times, right? Good problem to have, I say. So here's the thing. This is Joanne, and she says, after struggling for years with insomnia, chronic pain, debilitating headaches, and working with my doctors taking over-the-counter pills, I received the okay from my doctor to look at alternative options. It took me a long time financially to make the decision to invest in my health, but after working with Shannon, my pain level decreased by over 90% and I slept better. I loved how individualized it was, and I wasn't lumped in with everyone else. I was given the strategies to help myself feel better, leaving me feeling empowered to continue to make improvements for my own health. So, like Joanne, if you had the step-by-step path to follow, would you be successful in regaining your energy and losing weight? If you had accountability from a professional, would you be able to be successful? Let me know. Type yes in the comments. Casey says yes. So as a quick review, we're going to kind of go over these course concepts of what you guys learned today. So many, Candy says yes, Miranda says yes, awesome. Okay, so many of the clients that I've worked with, I've spent hours on Facebook. You know, we've all gone to different doctors trying to figure out how to regulate our hormones, whether we're using medication or not. But the thing is, traditional doctors are not trained to help you get to the root of what is going on and how to support the body so that the body can self-regulate. Lab work is like this small, teeny tiny glimpse of a snapshot of the day and a life in your body. Thyroid hormones fluctuate. And just because the thyroid hormones are in the body, it doesn't mean that they're actually getting into the cells of where we need them to be. Core concept number 2, or secret number 2, stop thinking that you're lazy and you should just get to the gym and eat less and exercise more to lose the thyroid weight. Your thyroid hormones are very delicate and respond quickly to the adjustments you make. So adjusting the diet and lifestyle can help improve the thyroid and the cellular response. It's not about spending hours in the gym or restrictive diets. It's about a 20-minute, 30-minute walk and getting the sunlight and exploring how your body is working with your genetics. Number 3, I will say it again. Some people absolutely need medication. However, I found a way to balance thyroid hormones without relying on the medication. Even my clients who do need medication have found improvements with the Hansen method because it ensures the thyroid hormones are getting where they need to be. So number 1, we need to understand your genetics. Number 2, we need to understand your blockers. Number 3, we need the right combination of the food to give you that clean energy jump start. And number 4, using movement to open up those detox pathways. So why have you showed up today? You showed up today because you want that lasting energy without having to give up Dr. Pepper and chocolate. Number 2, you want a simpler way to achieve energy and to lose the extra 30 pounds of weight without doing the restrictive dieting and spending hours in the gym. You want to start feeling better without being tired, snappy, irritable, puffy, and defeated. And you want to be able to have lasting energy so that you can feel accomplished and productive and successful. Candy says, amen. So here's my promise. At the beginning of this training, I made a promise to you. I promised that you would be able to clearly identify your thyroid symptoms and get the exact steps I used to restore my thyroid so that I could feel awake and refreshed all day long without being dependent upon caffeine, chocolate, and naps, while being able to get back into the jeans that have been hiding in the back of the closet. Casey says 1, 2, 3, and 4. Awesome. So here's the thing. There's one thing that I want you guys to remember. Everything that I've shared with you today isn't some random theory or some idea that might work for you. Everything I walked you through today, it worked for me, and it's worked for the clients that I've worked with who all started in a similar spot as you right now. And I'm not special. They're not special. We all have busy lives and jobs and families. And if they can do that, I am confident that you can do it too. I already know that you can achieve the lasting energy without the crashes as long as you have accountability and a plan to follow. So you're already halfway there, right? So would you like me to tell you how to gain freedom from fatigue? Type yes in the comments if you would like me to help you get that balanced thyroid hormones so that you can finally start creating your thriving thyroid. Casey, yes. Cheryl, yes. Angela, yes. Erica, yes. Candy says, oh, yay. Miranda says, yes. Okay, you guys, give me just one. Actually, I'm going to do this. Okay, pull that out. Because I forgot to pull something up for you. How rude am I? I needed to pull up these links so that you guys could have your bonuses. Okay, links. 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. I promise I still am going to tell you how to do this. All right. Okay, here we go. Now I have the links that I need. So you now have a choice, right? Hold on. Getting all caught up. Okay. So now you have a choice. You can continue to do what you're doing, bouncing from one diet to the next, trying exercise and routines, meal replacement shakes, and spending tons of money on supplements and bouncing from one doctor to the next doctor, hoping that it works, even though it has never worked before. Or you can choose that simpler path and use the Hansen method that comes with a proven system and accountability so that you can get your goals. The choice is yours. Now, throughout the webinar, you guys heard me mention the Hansen method. This is how I can help you achieve that lasting energy and gain the freedom from fatigue. So would it be okay with you if I took a couple minutes to share how to become the best version of you? Type okay in the comments if that's okay with you. It's my job to give you the right information so that you can achieve balanced thyroid hormones and energy so that you don't have to struggle with being so tired all the time. So would it be okay? Okay. So Casey says, okay. Angela, okay. Miranda, please do. Okay. Okay. Yes, please. And then at the end of this, you guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And then at the end of it, I will do a quick question and answer for you guys. So I am super honored to share this opportunity with you because it is the best way I can help you by personally supporting each and every one of you. So what I've done is I've set aside some time over the next 2 to 3 days because it is close to the end of the week. Some of you may be Monday or whatever, but I have set aside time to speak with each one of you personally and help support you in what you guys are doing and help you come up with that 90-day plan, which is amazing. I do all of the calls myself. I don't have a call center to do them. It will be me and you physically getting on the phone and talking for about 45 minutes. It's called a thyroid breakthrough call. And through this call, you're gonna gain so much confidence because you'll be able to see the system that is working so well. And you're gonna be like, how is this call even free? And while I'm certain I'm not the only nutrition person out there, I am the best at breaking down these steps and helping you get to the root cause so that you can experience a transformation in your life the way I have experienced and the ways that my clients have experienced. So if you guys want to take advantage of that free thyroid breakthrough call, I'm going to drop this in the comments right now for you. Okay, hold on. There we go. We're getting the link. You guys can click on that link. It is, like I said, complimentary 45-minute call. We're going to jump on the phone, me and you. We're going to get you guys some clarity around what is going on, what's working for you, what's not working, and looking at all of those key things. So putting this also on Facebook for you guys who are also watching. Okay. So let's dive back into the presentation. So you guys, when you go to that link, you're going to see a page like this. You're going to click on the day and the time that works best for you. They do fill up really super quickly, you guys. I'm usually scheduled almost 2 weeks out, so I encourage you guys to do that. But what you're going to do is you're going to see these blue little dots. Those are the days that are available. And you're going to find a time, just click on that, put in your name, your email, phone number, and you'll get an email from me, get all of the things that you need. You'll know the area code that I'm calling from, and it's super easy. So it's, like I said, easy peasy, right? Hold on, let me bring back up this chat box. Oh, I'm not seeing a link. Okay, here we go. Put it right there. Now, can you guys see it? Casey, can you see it? Candy, can you see it? Yes, yes, thank you. Okay, perfect, awesome. So now you've seen what the schedule looks like for the thyroid breakthrough calls. I want to cover a few specifics on the thyroid call so you know exactly how I can help you and what to expect. You'll get clear on what's working, your specific goals and why you want it, any obstacles and challenge that may be derailing you from that success, also how to handle those social settings or pressures, and if there's any self-sabotage that is happening, we'll be able to uncover that. So by the end of this call, you're going to leave with some very helpful strategies that will propel your success forward. Does that sound good? Comment yes in the comments if you know that having a call like this would be helpful to you. Okay, so here's the other thing that you guys need to know is this call is 100% free. Now you might be thinking, okay, but there's a catch. You just told me all of the ways you're going to help me, so why is this call free? So first off, this call is free because it is my mission in life, literally my life's work, to support women with thyroid imbalances to gain freedom from fatigue and release the weight in a way that doesn't involve spending hours on Dr. Google, stop the yo-yo dieting and spending hours in the gym, and having those, and I have those core values in my business where I offer value first. So I start off by helping you, like with things like this webinar and with the call, and I know that I can help you overcome some of those barriers that have been stopping you from achieving that sustainable energy in a super short period of time. And secondly, I know that there are many of you listening that want more personalized support and accountability. So if you are someone who needs that accountability, needs to know what steps to take, in what order to take them, and if the Hansen is a good fit for you, I'll go ahead and let you know on that call. And if not, it's completely okay. We will leave the call with so much value and clarity and confidence. And of course, we will always part as friends. There is one catch though. If you're looking for a quick fix or a magic pill, so to speak, or a way to balance those thyroid hormones and gain energy where you don't care if you're truly supporting the thyroid and the hormones, then this call isn't for you. So this call isn't for you if you're not a woman if you are a woman, right, who wants to play the victim role. If you aren't wanting to make changes in your diet and in your lifestyle that will help you gain that energy. And if you're looking for that quick fix and are not interested in the long-term well-being and want to continue bouncing from one doctor to the next doctor, searching for answers and validation on how you feel, this is not for the women who are ready or who already have that bounding, lasting energy and are in their dream size pants. This isn't for you if you are unmotivated and unwilling to make the recommendations and the changes in your life. So just a quick reminder, this call is for you if you want a system that works. I've shown you examples throughout this training of some of my clients who have had success, and there is a reason that they have achieved the energy, reduced the inflammation, and started sleeping better. My clients are committed to their goals. They want success so bad that many of my clients, like you, put in that 100% effort. And I believe and I know that when you commit to your goals using the system, you will be successful. So the first step is to schedule that thyroid breakthrough call with me. So if you're also someone who wants to gain the energy and the freedom from fatigue and are ready to commit, then this call is for you. So what are you ready to stop having? Right here. Okay. So wait, right here. Okay. Yep. If you guys are coachable, if you're determined, if you're resilient, if you're motivated, and if you're tired of trying to figure out things on your own, right? And you are ready to get those lasting results, this call is for you. If oh, okay, here is the other bonus that I promised you guys. Let me grab that link. Whoop. What is happening to my links? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is that link that I promised you guys for the thyroid panel guide. This is super, super helpful at helping you. There we go. Can all of you guys see that again? Let me know. Or if I need to change the settings on that. So this guide is helping you to identify the normal ranges versus the functional ranges. Now, your doctors, your physicians, they use normal ranges, which is a huge, huge gap. And what we're doing with the functional ranges is we're narrowing it down. So there's just some really amazing resources and tools in there for you guys to be able to check out. So now let's move into the question and answer section. If you guys have any questions, type them into the chat box right now, and we will go through those. I'm going to also try to pull up Facebook and watch on there if you guys have any questions, okay? I have a few questions. Let's see. Here we go. So what if you haven't been diagnosed with thyroid problems? Can this work for me? And the answer is absolutely, right? It doesn't matter if you have all of the symptoms, if you don't have all of the symptoms, this is absolutely going to work for you because it's designed to balance all of those thyroid hormones. Question number 2, this is another one that I get a lot. If I am a good fit, how much does the program cost? So this is really going to depend on your current state of health, your mindset, all of these different things. And I don't want to misspeak because you might need a different option. Plus, there are several different payment options. And you know, I don't like to go into that on the Facebook or on the class. So if we get on a call, if you're a good fit, I'll let you know about the cost of the program and how things are broken up, and all of those details. Question number 3, this is another one that I get oftentimes. If my thyroid has been completely or partially removed, is this going to work? Oh, hold on. We have a question down here. Someone asked me if I use essential oils, and the question is yes. That's not really built into the program. Oh, hi, Diane. Hi. that's not really built into the program, but there's definitely some additional resources for the essential oils and things like that to help support the body if that is an avenue that you want to use, okay? Another question, let's see. I'm a little nervous about joining this program. I've already tried so many things that don't work. So do you offer a money back guarantee? And the answer is absolutely yes. I stand behind the program, the products, the services, everything that we offer. So I do offer a 4-week money back guarantee. So if you're showing up, if you're doing the work, if you're participating in the coaching calls and, you know, coming to the one-on-one coaching and things like that, and it's not working for you, I will 100% refund your money because I know it works. Number 2, will this work if I am taking thyroid medication, or do I have to take medication? You guys, we talked about this throughout the program. It doesn't matter, right? If you're taking medication, it's going to make that medication work better. If you're not taking medication, that's okay. I'm not taking medication either. So, ooh, Cheryl says, what if I also have high blood pressure? Yeah, absolutely. Cheryl, this is going to work because, so one of the things that we don't realize is that the heart is actually affected by the thyroid as well. And this is why we see those heart palpitations, we see high blood pressure a lot. So this program is really designed to help bring all of those hormones back into balance. And this is another reason why we have that medical timeline, is so that we can start looking at all of those symptoms that you're experiencing, and again, reverse engineer what you have going on so that we can start balancing out that body. Okay, keep those questions coming, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna flip my screen over here to the, whoop. Okay, guys, hold on. Can you hear that? I was just trying to check out the questions. Okay, I don't think I see any questions on Facebook. If you guys have questions, if I missed your question, I apologize. I will come back and answer it. Any other questions? Give you guys just one more second to type anything in. Okay. Looks like we have answered all of the questions. You guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. You guys are absolute troopers hanging out with me. Make sure you guys are scheduling those calls, and I will see you guys soon. You guys are so welcome. Miranda says thank you. Cheryl, thank you. You guys are so very, very welcome. And hopefully you guys can feel my passion. I absolutely love this. You guys, it's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. Oh, hold on. There might be one more question. Okay, nope. Okay. All right. You guys have a lovely evening. I will see you later.